Hello and welcome to another episode of Planet Zoo, where I try to recreate the Antwerp Zoo, Belgium in the game. In today's episode I'm building the Great Ape Building and the adjacent valley which houses the chimpanzees and gorillas. The building itself was constructed in 1957 and finished in 1958 and was designed by architect René Grosmans. Grosmans implemented the most recent insights at the time for housing great apes in his design. For example, the current communal area, which sits under a nice glass roof, used to be an outside area separated by tall concrete walls and using a small ditch filled with water to separate the animals from the visitors. Of course, with what we know about great apes today, this practice would be frowned upon. In 1989, their outside areas were included into the building to expand their habitat, and luckily the great apes at the Antwerp Zoo today have both a large inside area where they are safe from the rainy and cold Belgian climate and a large outside area where they can enjoy the sun when the weather allows it. In today's episode I'm going to cover both, but unfortunately some time-lapse footage got corrupted, which is why I can't show you everything. But don't worry, I'll take a detailed look in the game itself at the end of the video, so be sure to stick with me. So at this point in the time-lapse I'm using these carbon fiber pieces to the roof of this entrance to the Great Ape Building. In the back there you can see like the kind of entrance or a passage through to the Okapi interior viewing area. When you actually go to the Antwerp Zoo and you go to the interior viewing area for the Okapis, you can walk through into the Great Ape Building, and then when you go through the building you arrive at the plaza and you have a view of the African penguins. Speaking of which, the African penguins, we are probably getting a mod for them soon, so I'm really excited to put them into this recreation. Of course, this is something I want to share with you as a tip or some advice when you want to do or when you want to put modded animals in your zoos and you've spent a lot of time on your zoos. Take enough backups of your zoo. I cannot tell you that enough. Backups, backups, backups. Mods can cause crashes. They rarely do, because when modders make something and they put it on Nexus mods, it's usually something that is finished and doesn't cause any crashes. But of course, in some occasions, a modder just overlooks something or something, and it can cause crashes. So take backups of your zoos, especially with like updates that can cause them cause issues and stuff like that. In my case, what I'll probably do is I'll make a copy save of the Antwerp Zoo every once in a while and put modded animals in that copied save file, just so I could show them off like in videos and stuff. But yeah, I won't be putting modded animals in my main save of the game. But yeah, really excited about that. Now, on another note about mods, recently NDP and the Lion Rider figured out how to do standalone scenery. Now, standalone scenery is really exciting for a couple of reasons. For one, we can have like custom walls and stuff like that. I know like a couple of people, including myself, have talked about wanting to port over the Moroccan pieces from Planet Coaster. Those would be really nice and would fit in well in Planet Zoo, I think. But with modded scenery, as soon as you place them down and you delete that mod and you try to reopen your save will actually crash. I think the Lion Rider made a good video about that, showing that when you download things on the Steam Workshop as well, they have modded scenery in them. You don't have that, your game will crash. Now it can easily be fixed by just downloading the mods for the new scenery, but of course when scenery breaks or something due to an update, which I think is really unlikely, because that would mean they'd have to change, or Frontier will have to change all their scenery files in the game for that to happen. But yeah, of course everything is possible, we never know, especially when they do like April Fools stuff with the flexicolor animals and stuff like that. But yeah, that's really exciting. But again, take enough backups. Even if you don't use mods, you never have enough backups. Anyways, back to the speed build. I kind of got off track there. I arrived at the point that I was extending the carbon fire roof there, but I also have like this back area where basically they have the same entrance as at the front, so I just copied that over, and rotated it, I think, because it's basically the same. Like, I don't think it's not an entrance for people, for visitors, but for zookeepers who want to access the building. I actually made it into an entrance for zookeepers to get to the great or the chimpanzee and gorilla interior habitats. Now I'm using these breeze pieces, and I'll also be using red brick pillars and stuff like that to cover the gaps that were caused by the carbon fiber roof, just to have everything connected up and stuff like that. Now I just copied over the roof, like there it connects really nicely into this nice little seam, but of course we don't have real corner pieces, so when I do the other corner in a sec here, you'll see it's not really that nice looking. As you can see here, kind of has these areas where they overlap, and that's not perfect, but yeah, there's not much I can do about that. Just finish off the roof here, using some plaster pieces to get that nice little wall over there, and finishing off the roof, filling in holes that were created by glass and stuff like that. And now I got to, or in a sec I'll get to a rather difficult part I had to deal with. As you can see, there's these like diagonal sections on the roof, and I was kind of thinking, how could I go about and fix that? Because it's not really that easy to have diagonal walls or even diagonal rooftop, especially when I'm using such a rigid thing as the glass pieces, or a glass roof. That's kind of rigid because you have a certain angle of inclination, or how would I call it, and then there's the factor of the angle at which your wall is at as well. Yeah, over here there's like a nice little out-sticking viewing bit. So this is where the gorillas are. They actually have quite a lot of area inside there, and the visitors have a nice little area where they can view the gorillas from, and they are safe from the rain and stuff like that. But yeah, the only thing that is kind of annoying over here is the fact that it's diagonal. So even with the plaster, I had to use some dark planks to fill in the holes, which were created by the fact that some plaster pieces were just too big and they would stick out. But yeah, now onto this large area. I just decided to use the large glass triangle, the glass panel, try to line it up there, and then filled in the gaps with as much glass piece, or as little glass pieces as I needed, just to have as little overlap as possible. And when I zoom out enough, you don't see that it's different glass pieces. But yeah, that worked out. Over here we are now in the inside area. As you can see there, the Okapi interior and how it connects to the Great Ape building. In this area where I'm putting in those glass walls right now, those are like little exhibits for small mammals. Now I know Frontier has come out and said that they will never do mammals in small exhibits, which is one of the reasons why the leaks of last week were not really that credible, because they talked about mammals being in exhibits. But yeah, they do have them at Antwerp Zoo over there in that area. Now a little bit about the glass here in the interior. The reason why they are using glass to separate like they did that in the 1950s as well, to separate the great apes from people. They could have used cages, but they use glass because that keeps out the germs and viruses. Right now, of course, we know with the coronavirus that is incredibly important to protect animals from viruses, because I think like a couple of months ago the monkeys, or the great apes I should say, was it in San Diego Zoo? I don't remember exactly. There were some great apes that actually caught the coronavirus. Now they didn't die from it, but it's still dangerous for them, of course. So great thing that the Antwerp Zoo separates them with this glass. Now I'm putting in the path, or basically the plaster pieces I have been using for the sandy path everywhere. Now at one point I'll have to abandon that, of course. I actually did abandon it for a small bit in the Great Ape Valley, as you'll see in the live game later on. But yeah, right now we're here in the interior habitats, just putting in the sand. This is where they'll spend most of their time when it's bad weather. But they do of course have an outside area where they can roam and climb stuff and do all that kind of monkey stuff that they do. But I think that, yeah, that footage got corrupted, unfortunately, and but I'll take a detailed look, as I said. But you have that to look forward to. Over here there's another like diagonal viewing area from outside for the gorilla habitat. It has these like weird plaster pillars. I don't really know what the function of them is, other than to keep like some visual differentiation in the building. Over right now I'm like doing the barrier for the outside area of the chimpanzees. There's these really nice like viewing areas that it's like an opening in the concrete, and visitors can view the chimpanzees in their nice little valley from there. So I'm just doing the outside walls. They're just concrete walls, nothing special about them. There they go all the way around the chimpanzees' little valley. This whole Great Ape Valley was actually a recent addition to the zoo. I think in 2017 they opened up this, they call it Mensapenvallei in Dutch, like Great Ape Valley. It gives the impression of a valley because there's like quite a difference in terrain, and the path which you follow really gives you the feeling that you're in between the chimpanzees and the gorillas, as I will show in the game in a second. But yeah, the path, I think I used like not the usual path I used. I didn't use the sandy, like the plaster wall, to give a sandy feeling. I actually used a Planet Zoo path for once. I think that worked out well. But yeah, you have these viewing areas. Every once in a while there's a lot of foliage around this path as well, which gives you the impression that you're really in the valley, in between the monkeys, or in between the chimpanzees and the gorillas. You can have a nice little look at them while they are climbing and stuff. And that is really nice, and it's a nice addition to the zoo. I think 2017, around that time, like where the large expansion or renovations in the zoo, in the Antwerp Zoo, actually occurred. Like around that time period, that's when they did this. And at the end of this path, you actually go into like a cave area underneath the Savannah restaurant, which is something for next episode. And it really gives you that valley look and that valley thing. That is really nice. Right now we are in the monkey building, or the Great Ape building again, just giving them some enrichment, some climbing stuff, climbing, like how would I call it? I was about to say furniture for some reason, I don't know why, but yeah, just some climbing stuff for them to enjoy. Just some ropes to connect everything. Yeah, the chimpanzees enjoy this area. They now actually have a reason to go there, and the visitors can actually go in there or watch them climb stuff, enjoy the enrichment stuff and stuff like that. It's really nice about the chimpanzees is that they often group up. So when they are in the inside habitat, they are usually all together. When they are outside, they are usually all together. Okay, but right now I'm working on the interior habitat for the gorillas, which has this faux tree. It was really the first time I used these pieces, and I really enjoyed that because it really looks nice. Put in some rocks as well, some climbing stuff for the gorillas, some enrichment, the usual stuff, basically to give them a reason to be inside. Like climbing stuff, as you can see. Now I also did those things on the windows there to give them a bit more privacy. They actually do have that in the zoo. I think privacy is something like we don't really think about that when like talking about animals in zoos. Of course, people in the zoo building community do think about that, but I think privacy is something that animals can use sometimes, because having people all the time watching you is kind of hard. Anyways, let's now go into the live game and have a detailed look. And we're now in the game. As you can see, we have the penguins over here, and right here is the Great Ape building. I really like how it turned out. Of course, when we last saw this in the time-lapse, it didn't have all the foliage around it, but the foliage really makes it stand out. So you can choose to go through this path right into the building here. Now I didn't really decorate this yet because the monkeys don't actually or are not able to go in here, but as you can see, I try to have some decorations. Over on this side I put in some exhibits, temporary exhibits, because I was trying to get a standalone exhibit animal. I was trying to mod that in, but I haven't figured it out yet. But when I do, I might give it a try to add some of the mammals. So let's do the actual like tour that you do if you were visiting the Antwerp Zoo. You'd be in the Okapi building here. Unfortunately, they are not here right now, but I do have this nice sign which I didn't show last episode. You come in here, can look at the chimpanzees. Right now they're not really here, but you can then go outside, and then when you go here, they are here, enjoying a nice little nap, or the enrichment items that are in here. You can actually go inside here and really go up close and look at them. Then over here we have the gorillas, and they are enjoying some terrain glitches right now apparently. Yeah, they do really have they do have a nice little inside area over here. That one is playing with the giant tire over there. And over here you can also have a look at them. And then you walk right to here into the Great Ape Valley. Now here you have a first look at the outside gorilla habitat. I didn't show this in the speed build because the footage of that got corrupted. But as you can see, I put in some gorillas in here as well, and yeah, you can see how they are enjoying climbing that tree apparently. Didn't know they could climb so high up. That's not really intentional, I think, or like in the Antwerp Zoo there's a tree there, but they do not climb it. Now that was something I didn't like. I suspected gorillas to be more like ground animals, because all the videos I see are of them on the ground. But anyways, let's go further down into the valley. Now there's the staff entrance that I talked about. I didn't add a custom sign yet for the chimpanzee, but that's going to go there. Right here you can see the interior, or the I should say the exterior, their outside area for the chimpanzees. So you have the viewing area over there, and some viewing area over here, and then another one over there. Yeah, they can go outside right there, and then they can enjoy their little valley. Now of course, the moment I'm filming this, there's none outside, but yeah, they do have this nice little outside area. Here we have another view at the gorillas. Then there's another view at the chimpanzee and habitat, and it goes on and on. Like there's a couple of viewing areas. Oh, there is one outside here. Perfect. Now that one is hopefully going to click. Let's have a look over here. No, he's just running back inside, I think. Yep. Anyways, when you follow this path, you go down into a cave area. Now I didn't finish this yet, so this is all unfinished. And another thing, in the real Antwerp Zoo, the decline isn't that steep, but because of this path had to fit underneath this building, I had to do it this steep. Same with the wall here. Normally it's not that steep. But then here you have another view at the gorillas from underneath you. Now the gorilla thing here isn't actually connected, as far as I know, to the interior gorilla habitat, so I don't really know how they get their gorillas from the interior to the exterior habitat. But yeah, this is I think this worked out really nice. Like, I love how terrain kind of gradually declines, and I have these like these temple pieces, I think they are, or something. What's this? Like, oh no, those are the aquatic rocks. Yeah, those are the aquatic rock blocks, and these are the temple pieces. I think these are like East Asia stone support beam. Okay, so there we go. Yeah, they are really nice. Like, if you have like a large terrain difference, you can use those to kind of wall that off. Now we have this giant glass wall. You might wonder, what's that for? Well, this building over here is the Savannah restaurant, and that's for the next episode. But basically, people can, when they go to the restaurant, they can watch the gorillas from inside. This is a really nice build, I think. Like, they do have nice climbing gear and stuff like that. Now, the tree as a climbing thing was not intentional, but I guess it kind of happened. But it reinforces my point, which I'm about to make. In the real Antwerp Zoo, there's like netting above this entire habitat. Same with the chimpanzees. There's this like large metal poles and with netting attached to it. But in the game right now, there is no real good netting, like scenery piece. I could use ropes, a lot of ropes, but the problem with that is ropes are climbable. And what will happen is a gorilla will climb a tree, he will jump to a rope and escape. And that's not what we want. So that's the reason why I didn't do that. And also, I kind of think it's nicer to have this open area. Anyways, that was the gorilla outside habitat. Let's have a more detailed look at the exterior habitat for the chimpanzees. There are two chimpanzees over here, enjoying the nice outside area. I used, of course, again, aquatic rocks to have this, like the same we did there with the blocks, but right here it's rocks. That really adds like a nice little detail to the entire habitat. Now, another detail that's quite nice, and it might be a good tip to anyone who wants to make their habitats look a little bit more realistic and a little bit more nice. You all know that animals like to have some different like terrain textures. For example, they like long grass, short grass, dirt and sand. But what you can actually do to make it look more realistic is have like a dirt path follow the path that the animals would take. Like as if it's because of the animals using this regularly that this has turned into dirt. Another thing I like to do is putting dirt around falling trees, because it's like fallen over and it costs some dirt or grass to not grow anymore. But yeah, using dirt as like a way to show where the animals usually like to walk is really nice. Like from their interior habitat, there's a path that runs to the climbing stuff, and then it runs through here, and then it kind of fades away because they don't really go there or stuff like that. Same here, there's a path that goes here all the way to that hole. I don't think I did it. Oh yeah, I also did it over here. I even did it more prominent over here, like this. There's this natural decline over here that's used a lot by the gorillas. That's why there's a lot of dirt here. Again, around the fallen over trees, to their enrichment item around here. Like, it really adds a lot. Like, you can see that the gorilla likes to run up and down there a lot, so that makes sense. That would be dirt. Okay, anyways, this is it for this episode. It was a lot of work to have both the building and the valleys done, so that's why this video took a little longer than normal, and that's why I also made the aquarium video as kind of like an in-between thing. But for the next episode, as I said already, I'll be doing the Savannah restaurant with the cave underneath it. That will be really nice for the next episode. So, you know the drill. If you like this video, please consider giving it a like, and if you want to see more of the Antwerp Zoo recreation, then consider subscribing. I really like having you around, and it really gives this series a purpose, because why would I even make this series if nobody was watching it? But anyways, see you next time. Bye.